With the launch of General Ibrahim Babangida's autobiography, it has reignited debates over Nigeria's political past, while the People's Democratic Party battles internal crises and a northern coalition strategizes for 2027. IBB's book, unveiled in Abuja, has drawn mixed reactions. Critics revisit his annulment of the June 12, 1993 election, while supporters commend his governance insights. Former President Olusegun Obasanjo, a keynote speaker, warned IBB to expect backlash, recalling his own experiences. Meanwhile, the PDP remains divided, with factions led by Atiku Abubakar, Nyesom Wike, both locked in unresolved disputes, raising doubts about their ability to challenge the ruling All Progressives Congress in 2027. Now, in response, a coalition of Northern Democrats have mobilized to unify opposing forces and capitalize on public discontent over economic hardship, insecurity, and corruption. Analysts are warning that success will depend on addressing these crises and restoring public trust. Well, for deeper insights on this conversation and the controversial IBB memoir, The PDP Crisis, the plans by Northern Democratic Coalition ahead of the 2027 elections, and the state of the nation, we are now joined by former Jigawa State Governor Sule Lamido. Good afternoon. Welcome to Newsday.
Thank you, Awa. Thank you, Tope. Thank you for having me.
Good to have you. So we're wondering if you have gotten your own copy of IBB's book. Have you had a look at it? Did you watch the ceremony, if anything? What did you make of the ceremony? All the individuals who turned out, and of course the very telling revelations that have been catching headlines ever since the 1993 elections, and IBB's regret over annulling those.
Well, I'm sorry, I'm going to disappoint you because whether I read the book or not is not the issue. I'm not here to either discuss or critique the book. I'm not here for that.
Well, what did you make of the individuals who turned out, the political class, and just the overall ceremony? What I was trying to get from you with the question is whether or not you're engaged in the conversation, whether or not you're aware, not to critique, but to see whether or not it's a discussion worth having.
Well, he wrote his own memoir, gave his own version of how he ran his own government and how the election was conducted. That's his own version. I'm coming with my own memoir too, my own autobiography, which is coming up, I think in May. And I also talked about June 12 and other issues in that book. So for now, I don't think we should be going into anything about my opinion, impression, or otherwise. I don't think I'm here for that. My book is coming up. The launch will be in May, and the foreword of the book was written by OBJ himself. So let's leave it at that for now.
Okay, since you clearly do not want to talk about IBB's autobiography, I'd like us to talk a bit about the crisis the PDP has been facing for a number of years. What has been done to strengthen the party, reconcile aggrieved members, and re-strategize for 2027? We've had a number of party elites come on Newsday, tell us that don't worry, it's a family affair, they are settling. But we've heard all that. We've been hearing all that for several years, and we've not actually seen any resolution. So can you tell us specifically what has been done and how soon we can expect the PDP to bounce back, if it ever will?
I'm really alarmed by your curiosity about PDP and your interest about the party. I was in London yesterday, and I had the same question from you journalist. I said, look, the PDP story is well known by all Nigerians. What is transpired in the last 2 years is well known. What we are going through as a political party, the crisis, and whatever. Though I think Nigerians know more than enough for them to be able to give us the peace to sit down and then look at it internally and see how we can get the party properly reconciled. we've said so much about the party, we've made so much noise, vilifying each other, and I think it's now become a big monotony for Nigerians to be talking about PDP cars all over. So give us time now. We're now working very, very hard. We're reaching out to our various, stakeholders, and please give us the time to reconcile ourselves. So much for the entertainment, so much for the controversy, so much for all the noise about PDP. I think it's been a big entertainment to Nigeria, a big entertainment about our crisis. So let us now at least sit back and see how we can really reach out to each other, reconcile each other, forgive each other, and then give Nigeria a party which is going to lead Nigeria into security, prosperity, and the national reconciliation.
Governor Lamido, there is nothing entertaining about watching the country's #1 opposition party falter at its one job, which is to hold the ruling party to account when the citizens of Nigeria are unable to. You would agree that as a political party, the PDP has the power to challenge the government of the day, much more so than the ordinary individual Nigerian. So maybe as a governor or a politician, it might seem like jest, but it's very serious for us on this side. What would you say that the PDP needs to do in order to regain the trust of individuals who are on this side, who are not part of political parties, who do not have the cushioning of life as those in the political elite? What can you do to give some assurance for those who are not laughing and are not entertained by anything the PDP is doing?
I don't know. You see, the duty to hold Nigerian government to account is that of all Nigerians, not only for the party called PDP. It's true we're in opposition. It's true should be the main champion of the opposition. But then the Nigerian people, have the power and the authority and the right to also hold the government into account, especially the media. And it's a collective thing for all Nigeria and the political parties. It's not when you say PDP. I mean, it's a very, very lazy argument because what are other Nigerians doing? We can only, be effective in Nigeria, believe and trust us. And in any case, we are coming from a background where we are vilified a political party. We've been in power for some number of years, and we are vilified, we are maligned, we are accused of a number of things. So why this sudden intro about our PDP and then playing a role which all Nigerians will be playing? So to me, the government of today is Nigerian government, is for all Nigerians, and therefore should be able to collectively, political parties and the main opposition party, PDP, to make sure they hold the government accountable. That's all. So when you put the role onto PDP alone, the very party which Nigeria denied in the last 8 years, it sounds a little bit unfair. It's an unfair expectation. Because people never believed the PDP in the last 8 years. They are simply talking about PDP now because of the consequences of the choice they made in the last 8 years. That's all.
Now, some analysts are of the opinion that Nigeria and Nigerians face a lose-lose situation in 2027, as it does seem like all the political parties, including the ruling party and even the PDP, seem to be lacking in ideology. It does seem like all the political parties are only interested in grabbing power without any vision or idea on how to actually move the nation forward. I'd like you to react to this, please.
Apparently, you're trying to provoke me. When you say PDP has no ideology, then why do you bother to ask me about our role if we have no ideology? You see, I think we should be able to look at this thing, in a more holistic way. That the country called Nigeria is a big leader in Africa and also in the world, and therefore the role we play or do not play, has serious consequences on our sovereignty and to the world in general. So when you say we have no ideology, then why are you asking me if we have no ideology? If we lack ideology, then why are you asking me?
I'm asking you to react to what some critics are saying. That's why you are here, to clarify some gray areas for us.
You are trying to provoke me into a debate, which is simply unnecessary. Simple. I mean, the PDP has got a very clear history, which you all know. In the last, 25 years. You have known what PDP, what Nigeria was in 1998. what Nigeria went through after annulment. And therefore, the effort of the PDP to bring Nigeria back to sanity, to unity, based on the consequences of the military rule we had. And so the PDP worked very, very hard. And in 16 years, we were able to restore Nigeria, get Nigeria thoroughly reconciled and stabilized, to the point that, people were able to regain their vision, maybe, their conscience, and they are also right. And then they said, look, thank you, PDP, for having done what you've done. Now we don't want you. We don't need you because you are this and that. So fine. So why are you asking me again? I mean, everything being done today is simply because PDP was the foundation of Nigerian stability. But then Nigerians say they didn't like us. Now that, they've found out that, the APC was no alternative. So give us the chance, support us, give us the political peace so that we can be able to, we'll be able to really look at Nigeria and then get the party properly reconciled and then work towards promoting a greater Nigeria of peace and stability and security. That's the thing. That's the we're trying to play now. But then when you keep on asking a question about ideology, saying PDP has failed or it's not failed, then you are missing the point. We have no luxury for that kind of lazy debate now. It's a very lazy debate.
All right, let's hope this next question doesn't provoke you. What special purpose vehicle can you foresee the North aligning with? Answer, whether or not you like. There are a lot of names that have been thrown out into the galley. And I'm talking about for 2027. It seems like power is shifting. Some Northern Coalition individuals are not completely on board with the way things are going on right now, with the administration not favoring some of their policies for their people. So in order to dislodge the APC, there have been names that have been thrown out. Notice I didn't say PDP, just to dislodge the power of the day. Some names have been thrown out in order to form a special coalition to try and form some kind of opposition government. Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi.
What are the names? What are the names? What are the names?
I'm listing them right now. Atiku Abubakar, Peter Obi.
What are the names?
Nasser El-Rufai, Rotimi Amechi, Senator Aminu Waziri Tambuwal, and former President Goodluck Jonathan. Do any of these names jump at you as being likely candidates to do the job?
Arise TV.
Oh, God.
You see, when you mention names, also reflect into history and see what role have they played in bringing Nigeria to today. All of them you mentioned, those you mentioned, the IMHs, the Atiku, the Tambuwal, what was their role in 2014 in bringing the current APC government into power? Isn't it? So these people are talking as the key players, the RFIs, they know their role. They are simply now coming to say, okay, we've done wrong. Let them first formally approach Nigeria. When they apologize, I mean, I mentioned and RFI, talking about opposition, and the APC, all the part of the Nigerian crisis was brought APC. So when they now try to regroup, talking to who? To me or to other Nigerians? What are they telling us? They are actually the entire problem. So what are they telling us now? They are, all of them, all the people you mentioned now, were all PDP invention from 1998 to 2014. They are all PDP invention, PDP creation. The people who were honored, who were dignified, who were celebrated by the PDP. PDP invented them, PDP made them, but then they turn around and destroy PDP. Now, if they are coming around to talk about PDP, I have some difficulty because, I'm coming from the old order where, the issue of morality is very, very important to us. It's very, very important. And I feel taken aback by some of the action they are now doing. That, really, this is what now we are as leaders. I mean, picking and choosing when we want to do what we think is best for our interest. You don't pick and choose.
The state of the nation, your opinion on how things are going on in Nigeria right now in terms of security, the economy, general life for Nigerians. Is it improving? Is it on the rise as the government of the day says it is? Or do you have other opinions?
Well, the government is making wide claims about security, about the economy, and what have you, and their efforts in getting Nigeria, secure and economically stable. But to me, you see, it's not the government should not be pontificating. Go to Zamfara, go to maybe Kebbi, go to part of Sokoto, go to part of Kaduna, and ask people, are you safe? Do you feel secure? That is when you get the right answer from the people. Not somebody sitting in Abuja and they're talking that Nigeria is very, very secure or safe. Secondly, on the economy, go to the market. Ask the ordinary bus driver, the ordinary folks roaming around the street. Ask them, are you happy with the money in your pocket, able to give you what you think is adequate for your own need or not? That is to me, that is the parameter of testing either the security or the economy of a country. It's not about me or you, people like you who are people like me, who should be talking for Nigerian. Go to ordinary Nigerian, ordinary folks, talk to them. Do you feel safe? Do you feel secure? Are you happy with the government? And they'll hear the answers. Not me, not you. I mean, we were simply floating on top, but then go right down. They will see poverty walking on his own 2 feet. You see it. You can see insecurity. I mean, only last week, somebody called Turji was putting a levy of about how many million on some villages in Zamfara. Only last week. So when you say security and the economy and the government claim, then to me, it's all part of the deception of leadership in government.
Now, earlier in the interview, you talked about the role of Nigerians in holding the government accountable. You said it's not only the responsibility of the PDP. And I'd like you to expatiate a bit more on that. What more can ordinary Nigerian citizens do to demand and get good governance from the current crop of leaders that we have?
I think it's a very, very germane question. You see, the APC government has made, poverty as a weapon. Poverty has been weaponized, and therefore, when you don't have the basic need, when you are very poor, when you are hungry, you are very unstable. And so they've been able to create a situation whereby Nigeria will not rely on what they call handouts or palliatives. And government and governance has not been, giving Nigeria, support or palliative. The purpose of government is create the kind of environment to be able for other Nigerians to be able to stand up and work and defend and earn a living. But when you run Nigeria into that kind of poverty and they rely on you in handouts, they have taken away their dignity, their self-esteem, and even their capacity to be human beings again. So, to me, the way forward is for the government to be humane, to also call human empathy, to also respect people. And believe in their dignity, not by getting them subordinated and therefore feeling obliged for the support which is their own right. Because I have the right for the government to make my life easy, to make it more comfortable, to make me feel secure. Therefore, doing otherwise is simply creating an environment whereby I will feel obliged to feel maybe subordinated or to feel happy that the government is working for me. You don't induce a problem and they say, okay, this is the cure, and ask me to thank you. You don't do that. Government has been able to induce, poverty and difficulty and into Nigerians. To the point that, they have lost their self-esteem, their dignity, and their honor, and therefore they now look on the government for succor and the solace, and which is very, very wrong. So I think first thing that, the Nigerian people who are now very hungry should be able to desist this issue of handout during election. And you get Indomie. You get, for your own vote because you are very poor. Now, make some kind of sacrifice. Stand up for your right. Stand up for yourself, for your dignity and your human essence. Secondly, the politicians should be able to also say, look, we respect you, Nigerians. Therefore, we believe in your dignity. We believe you have rights. We should not manipulate or exploit you. So it's something collective. All of us must have that kind of human empathy, human feeling, and human respect for each other, so that we'll be able to put in the environment a very, very clean environment where issues can be properly addressed without any encumbrance from hunger or poverty. But for now, the Nigerian poor are burdened by poverty, burdened by hunger, and they cannot see very clearly. And when you have no focus, when your vision is impaired by this kind of problem, you don't see very clearly. So my worry is, in 2027, what do we do to restore that culture of integrity, of sanity, and sincerity? So we look at the Nigerian situation and see how do we save Nigeria. But by the way people are now being manipulated, The way they give out, 50,000 naira, monthly to people. I hand out. I mean, you have taken away people's sense of honor and dignity, and that's the biggest problem. So it's a very, very difficult thing, to work under an environment where the leadership is so pharaonic, is so well. With all politics, I won't be fairly polite. I'm not being personal, but then the current leadership is very, very pharaonic. It is not human empathy. It is arrogant. It is patronizing. It is condescending. And because to them the government is owned by them. We're not a government of the oligarchs like America. What we do in Nigeria is a government of the oligarchs. That's all. How do we restore power to the people is the problem now? Because the oligarchs are now in charge.
Well, you summed that up very nicely for us, and we thank you very much for joining us on the program. Former Governor of Jigawa State, Sule Lamido, thank you for joining us on Newsday.